All right, let's go down the street here in Nashville and talk to Elijah. What's up, Elijah?
Hey, Dr. John, I really appreciate you having me.
You got it, man. What's going on, dude?
Hey, so I got married about 3 weekends ago. Awesome.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. I got a wonderful wife. She's everything I could ask for. What I wanted to ask about today was just kind of a roadmap to, one, obviously, how do I not mess this up? And two, one of the things we've talked about is let's make this the best marriage of all time. And she's on board with me on that. We see eye to eye on pretty much everything I can think of. And I've looked, we've had premarital counseling. I feel like we're doing the right things, but I just really want to make sure that we're doing the right things that we need to do. People talk about putting in the work on marriage, and they don't really go past that and explain really what that means. So just a roadmap for how we make this the best marriage that we can.
Dude, I love that question, and it's a disastrous goal. Can I blow up your whole model for this?
Yeah, you can blow it up.
All right. 100%. Do not seek to have the best marriage of all time. That's too much pressure to put on both you and your wife and your marriage. That's not the goal.
Okay.
The goal is to ask every single day, how can I love you today?
Yeah.
And we're going to put in some pictures of what that looks like. Make no mistake, you will mess this up. Go ahead and release yourself from that. You'll mess it up. You know what? She will too.
Yeah.
And then y'all will both try to fix it and work on it, and you'll both mess it up. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple things off the top of my head that I wish I had known when I started. Also knowing I wouldn't have done any of it. Right? I saw this recently that before the internet, we thought that people made dumb decisions because they didn't have the information. Now we know that is not true. Right?
Yeah.
People
definitely
have the info and they continue to make dumb decisions. So I'm going to fill a couple of things up here, fill you in with a couple of things, and kind of go from there, okay?
That sounds great.
All right. So the first thing is I want you to not try to over-intellectualize this.
Yeah.
I want y'all to make a habit, a practice, a daily morning practice, a daily evening practice, and then a little more of an intensive weekly practice, and then a real intensive annual practice. And that is simply not trying to guess how she wants to be loved.
Yeah.
Not try to guess how she wants to be kept safe. Not try to guess what she needs from you, but get in a regular rhythm of asking.
Yeah.
And the quicker you can demystify the Hollywood bullcrap that is you're supposed to read her mind and she's supposed to read your mind, and that's what romance is, the quicker you can melt that nonsense and be honest with each other and begin to think of it this way. Over time, I'm going to teach her how I best feel loved and vice versa. Yeah. And by the way, knowing every 5 to 10 years you're going to change. And so is she.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe every month or two, right?
Yeah.
But so Definitely. What we're doing is we're building a framework. We're not coming up with a bunch of answers. So we're going to build a framework where every day I'm going to ask you, hey, what's the best way I can love you today? What's your picture of today look like? And she might say, I don't know. What kind of question is that? That means her dad never asked that question. She never saw her dad ask her mom that question. She might not even know. Yeah. Cool. We're going to figure that out. And vice versa. How can I love you today? Yeah. And you'll be like, I don't know. You'll make out. Over time, you'll come up with, I really need just to sleep tonight. Or I really need to, I just need to go to something crazy. Can we just go out? And I know we can't afford it. I know it's whatever. Can we just go out? Like, right? So we're going to slowly begin to practice that. But if she knows you're going to ask that question every morning and every evening and every Sunday night, you're going to get together and go over the calendar for the week and go over your budget for the week. Dude, you're building a marriage that is so resilient that when something happens, and a whole bunch of things will happen, Elijah. You just got to trust me on this.
Yeah.
Both of your parents, if the world works out the way it's supposed to, you'll bury all 4 parents.
Yeah.
You'll bury all of your grandparents. One of you will find yourself super into somebody else you work with, or somebody else at church, or somebody else in your neighborhood, and you'll have to claw your way back.
Mm-hmm.
One of you will hurt the other person. You'll have parenting difference. These things will happen. This is marriage.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But if every day, how can I love you today?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, be very clear about asking your wife, what does safety look like to you?
Mm-hmm.
You sound like a guy that's into like, how do I protect and provide, right? That kind of stuff.
Yep. Yep. Jiu-jitsu, working out. Yeah.
There you go. When my wife and I were dating, this is going to shock you. I'm going to blow your mind. I was a hothead, a real hothead, dude. And then when I got into MMA and it was less sport, when I got into it, it was more just like practice was sparring and like some sit-ups and then more sparring.
Yep. Going hard.
I thought protecting my wife was getting in a fight all the time. And what I came to realize was I made her feel less safe on a daily basis.
Yep.
Because she didn't know if I was going to pop off at a grocery store. She was the one that said, John, if you get into some altercation in a restaurant because somebody looked at me wrong and you tell yourself you're protecting me and his buddy hits you on the head with a bottle, I'm left alone with two crazed guys. You have not protected me. And so I learned with my wife that the greatest way I could protect her was to get her out of situations, to leave.
Yeah.
And so for me, courage was not getting in the middle of a situation. Courage for me was sucking up my ego and pride and getting my wife to a safe place, bringing her home.
Yeah, that's good.
Does that make sense?
I can definitely lean towards doing the first. Like, hey, did that guy look at you? I'm going to go get him. I'm going to ask him, hey, what are you looking at? And so, yeah, that's good.
And your wife will probably say, do you think I'm beautiful? And you'll go, yeah. And she'll go, he does too. Get over yourself. Right? And you'll go, oh, yeah. Right? So,
definitely.
But that's asking the question, hey, when does this make you feel safe? And there's other times, I used to joke, my wife's a Texas feminist. She'd be like, women should be paid equal, all the stuff, right? That's all true. And then she would be like, you need to go hit that dude. I was like, I don't know what to do. But so there is times that's like, you know what I mean? But that's not for this show. Here's the deal.
That communication and asking what to do.
Right.
You know, what makes her feel safe. Yep.
What does intimacy feel like? What is sex like? Like, what makes you feel loved?
Yeah.
What makes you feel all hot and bothered? What makes you just want to get it on? Like, not you going, oh, I know what's going to be. Because that's the way you feel, or that's the way you saw it in some movies sometimes. Like, let her dictate that. And hopefully vice versa. That you open up a dialogue that she can ask you that stuff. And that leads to, what does being loving look like? Ask that question. Because I thought being loving, probably the first 15 years, was making money, getting a bunch of titles, getting invited to stuff, getting things autographed for my wife, running around in the middle of the night with police officers and fighters so that I could look like I was living some life that I really wasn't living. I wasn't in the CIA, even though I was like, yeah, bro, I watch the shows. All that was me trying to love my wife. Come to find out, she just wanted me. And I didn't have a psychology for that. Because my only value was found in utility. What can I do? And she was like, A, I'm smarter than you. B, at the time, I make the same amount of money as you about. Will you just hold my hand and watch the sunset with me and drink some coffee?
Yeah.
Right? And by the way, that's changed. There's a season when you need to go to work. There's a season when like you got to write a book, and there's a season when kids are born and need some help. Like, but it changes over time. But what does loving look like?
Yeah, that's good. I'm gearing up for a time where I'm going to have to work really hard for about 2 to 3 years for my career and getting that started.
Perfect.
And knowing that communication is going to be, the biggest thing. Asking, how can I love you? How can I make you feel safe? Those questions. I'm sure that's going to be really important at that time.
And here's a magic question for every marriage. I think every person that's married or about to be married should ask this question. What do we want our home to feel like?
Yeah.
And then let's reverse engineer that. And in my house, I wanted it full of laughter. I wanted it to feel warm when I walked in. And so we had to figure that out. Well, John, if you want the house to feel warm, I need you to put your dishes up the night before.
Yep.
John, I need you to help make the bed. I need you to help with the kids in the morning. And so then when you get home, right? Awesome. Let's do that.
Relax.
Yeah. Yep. And here's a couple of other things that are marriage adjacent. You take care of you all the way around, not just lifting weights and going to jiu-jitsu. Make sure you got a group of men that you talk to on the regular, that you tell stuff that makes you scared, dude, I'm scared about like my job.
Yeah.
I am like this woman that I work with. She thinks I'm hilarious, and like I'm kind of starting to like think up a joke that I can tell her when I get to work. Like, dude, and you got to have people that you talk to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And the third, like, go see a counselor, man. If you're about to gear up and go get yourself a coach, get yourself a counselor that you can, so that way you don't use your wife as a trash can over the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That she only
Definitely.
gets you when you're exhausted and you're not gonna believe what happened today, right?
Yep.
And then here's the last one. Hold all of us with a really open hand. The greatest quote I've ever heard about marriage was from Esther Perel when she said, most adults have 4 or 5 great, passionate loves in their adulthood. And if they work really hard, it can be with the same person.
Mm.
I've been married for 21 and a half years. I'm a radically different person than I was 5 years ago. Unrecognizable. I am radically different from the guy I was 10 years ago. Literally unrecognizable. And the guy that got married when he was 24, that dude, jeez. That guy needs to be taken out behind the woodshed and just beat, right? And so I tell you, she's going to change. And so are you. And that's not the problem. That's the beauty.
Yeah, that's good.
So if you hold her to a list of, you said you believe in this. Dude, the greatest thing is changing our beliefs. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. That's why I read books. That's why I listen to podcasts. That's why I have interviews. That's why I travel the country. Oh, I believed this. I thought something different. You and your wife need to be really secure on your values and hold your beliefs super, super lightly. So me and my wife share some values. Dignity and respect, no matter what. Curiosity over everything. Hospitality. Right? So if she comes in and goes, hey, I don't think I believe X anymore. I believe Y now. Then our value is not, you will believe exactly like me. It is curiosity and dignity. Whoa, dude, that sounds wild. Tell me about that. Right?
Yeah.
That's different than, you can't tell our kids that. Our kids are going to be fine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so maybe a fun, like, month, you do this, brother. Have a 1-month anniversary. She'll never see it coming. Have a 1-month anniversary and take her out and have something really nice where y'all can write down your values. Who are we going to be? And make sure you talk through, I know our beliefs are going to change. You're going to read a book. You're going to have an experience. You're going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. We're going to have changes in what we believe. That's the beauty of our life. The only people who can't figure that crap out are politicians. Jeez Louise. We're going to get new information. Cool. That's awesome. What are our values going to be? Who are we going to be? And let's ink those in right now. And then let's hold some beliefs really loosely. I'm going to send you all of the Questions for Humans cards, both decks for couples, and the Christmas one that is probably going to be sold out by the time the show comes out. And I'm going to send you a couple other Questions for Humans decks and Building an Unanxious Life. I want y'all to read that book together and just build a roadmap in your house. As you're saying, okay, the next 3 years, I'm going to be grinding it in my job, which is amazing, by the way. I've had multiple 2 or 3 or 4 year stints when I'm grinding it at work. Use that as a roadmap. How are we both going to be whole in our house? It's going to be awesome. I'm proud of you, man. Great questions to be asking. I waited till you're 15 to ask these questions. So, dude, you're way ahead of the game. Take care, good man.